Hello, good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight with Roger Johnson. Thank you for joining us on this Monday evening. Our top story. Survivors of the Southport knife attack tell their stories by speaking publicly for the first time.
But I just knew that if I didn't get out, everyone was going to die.
Leanne Lucas helped children to get out of the room after she had already been stabbed 5 times. Also tonight, 10 weeks in prison for the Cheshire MP Mike Amesbury after he assaulted a constituent in the street. 6 years after our dear colleague Diane Oxberry died, an ovarian cancer roadshow aims to help others spot the symptoms. Note Perfect, the autistic singer inspiring others with little help from his famous Irish friends.
3, 2, 1.
Putting Everton on the map, a landmark moment for the new stadium, which they hope will take them to new heights.
And join me for a full weather forecast to find out what our last week of meteorological winter will look like.
Survivors of last summer's Southport knife attack have given their first interviews about what happened. 26 children were taking part in a dance workshop last July when a 17-year-old burst in and started stabbing them. 3 girls died, several others suffered serious injuries. And the workshop leader, Leanne Lucas, and a teenage assistant have been talking about helping the little girls to safety, even though they too had been stabbed. Here is Leanne Lucas first. You might find what she says upsetting.
He grabbed a child. I didn't know what he was doing. He then grabs the next child and the next child. And then I shout, "Who is that?" And then I struggle to get that part of the memory back because he moves from the girls at the table and he moves over to right next to me. I just felt something go in my back. So my brain just said, he's got me. So he got me, and then he got me again. But I just knew that if I didn't get out, everyone was going to die. He was bigger than me. And I just thought, I need to get some help. So we were shouting run, and I called 999 on the landing and asked for the police. Just wanted everyone to get out of the building. I just kept saying, there's children inside, there's children inside, there's children inside.
That was Leanne Lucas talking to Judith Moritz. Helping her run the dance class that day was a 13-year-old girl. She's now 14, but can't be identified because of her age. She has been speaking with the help of her family, and again, you might find some of what she says upsetting.
I remember sitting in the garden, thinking it was a lovely day, it was sunny.
It was a normal school holiday, beginning to the day, got the kids up, had breakfast, taken them to the Taylor Swift dance yoga.
My sister wanted to go to take part, so I was there helping out, taking pictures of the girls, all having fun, dancing and doing yoga. And then it came to like the last 20 minutes or so, we were all doing bracelet making, and that's when he came in. I saw him stab a child in front of me, and then I saw him coming for me. I saw him stab my arm, and that's when I turned, and he must have got my back, but I didn't feel it at the time. Because of the adrenaline, you don't feel it. I remember his eyes the most because he looked possessed and not human. He didn't look human at all. I remember seeing the girls all huddling around the stairs. So I remember shouting for them to get down and get out. So I was physically pushing them down the stairs to get everyone out. I thought that he wasn't going to stop until he killed everyone, which is why I thought we needed to get everyone out of the car park to safety.
You got them all to follow you to a house across the road?
Yeah. They were all kind of still screaming and panicked, as you would be. Everyone's in a blind panic at this point. I remember this one girl, she was going around everyone, telling everyone, don't worry, your parents are going to be here, everything's going to be okay, you're going to be all right. and she was truly amazing. She calmed everyone down. She was incredible.
And roughly how old do you think she was?
About 10,
Little girl.
all really little.
Why is it important to you to do this interview? Why did you want to do it?
Because there's lots of hearsay out on social media that aren't true or false information, and I want to get my voice and the truth out there for everyone to know.
Are you seeing lots of that? Do you go on social media?
I am on social media and I do see a lot of it, and it does infuriate me that some people do that.
Doing the interviews to be able to get across the enormity of that day, for people to understand and for her to have a voice.
You can hear more from both survivors on Panorama, the Southport attack. It's on the BBC iPlayer right now if you want to watch it, or you can see it here on BBC One at 8 o'clock this evening. If you've been affected by anything, any of what you've heard, you can find details of organisations, as always, which offer support via the BBC Action Line. There's the address. It's bbc.co.uk/Action Line. Next tonight, the Runcorn and Helsby MP, Mike Amesbury, has been jailed today for 10 weeks after admitting assaulting a man in the street last October. It happened in Frodsham in the early hours of the morning, with video footage, which I'm sure you've seen, showing Mr Amesbury punching a man to the ground and then continuing to hit him while he was on the floor. Our Cheshire political reporter, Kayleigh Watterson's live for us in Frodsham tonight. So, Kayleigh, first of all, remind us about this incident. People might well recall it, and tell us more about what happened in court today. You were there.
Yes, so this incident happened just behind me here in Frodsham in the early hours of the 26th of October, as shown in the CCTV footage you mentioned. He was suspended by the Labour Party when the footage emerged and charged with assault a few days later. And he appeared in court last month where he admitted a charge of assault by beating. Now today the press benches were packed at Chester Magistrates Court as he returned to be sentenced, and in fact they had to open a second room with a video link to accommodate all the watching members of the media. Now, prosecution lawyer Alison Storey laid out what happened on the day of the incident and showed the court that CCTV footage. She said it was clear that there was no aggression from the victim and that he didn't retaliate even after he'd been punched to the floor. Meanwhile, defence lawyer Richard Darby said he'd never represented a person with such exemplary character before. He said Mr Amesbury reacted wrongly and regretted his actions. In sentencing him to 10 weeks in prison, District Judge Tam Ikran said that he felt the incident was too serious to be dealt with by a community order or unpaid work. He said it was only good fortune that the victim suffered minor injuries and highlighted that he'd seen cases where a single punch had led to fatalities. The judge then said that Mike Amesbury will serve 40% of that sentence in prison and then be on licence for 10 weeks. So what do people here in Frodsham think about the fact that their MP has been sent to prison?
He was a good MP and he was doing lots of good things around, but you know, if you're suddenly get a position of power, that was the thing, that he's suddenly finds himself in government, you've got to toe the line.
You don't know what happened beforehand, but he was punching the man and he was shouting and he was said that'll teach you.
Ultimately, I think he's got responsibility to his constituents, so he should ultimately pay the price and be treated like everyone else.
If you're going to do the crime, then you're going to have to pay for it, especially if you're an MP.
Kayleigh, you mentioned the suspension. What are the political implications of all of this, both for Mike Amesbury and for the constituency?
Yes, so as he was suspended by the Labour Party, he's been sitting as an independent MP ever since. But as he has received that prison sentence, along with the order for 12 months to be on licence, that means that after the time he has to appeal has elapsed, or after an appeal has been completed, that would trigger what's called a recall petition. And if 10% of his constituents here sign it, calling for him to be removed as their MP, then a by-election would take place here. But meanwhile, he remains as the MP for Runcorn and Helsby, even if this evening he's not returning to his home here in the constituency and will be spending tonight, along with the next few weeks, in prison in Liverpool.
Kayleigh, thank you. Kayleigh Watterson there, live for us in Frodsham. The parents of a 3-year-old girl who was killed after a van crashed into a tram in Manchester city centre say that she was the sweetest, kindest and most generous little girl. Louisa Parmisano, known as Lulu from Burnley, died shortly after the incident on Saturday morning. Police say they've arrested a 36-year-old man on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. The inquiry into the crimes of Lucy Letby has heard that when she was arrested, there was denial at the Countess of Chester Hospital that the matter needed to be taken seriously. The Thirlwell inquiry is examining how Letby was able to attack and murder babies, and today it heard from Dr Susan Gilby. Now, she became the medical director there shortly after Letby's arrest. She expected, she said, to find colleagues reeling from the shock of the arrest. Instead, she said, some hospital bosses thought the matter would go no further.
Even at that point, it was believed that nothing would come of this, and the focus continued to be on the people who had raised concerns. So that was a surprise.
We're going to talk about someone who needs no introduction now. It's hard to believe it's just over 6 years since our dear colleague and friend Diane Oxberry died, shortly after being diagnosed with ovarian cancer. As you may know, a charity was formed after her death to raise awareness about the symptoms of the disease. Annabelle and I are its patrons. Well, now the Diane Oxberry Trust has teamed up with the NHS for a 6-week roadshow, as Mairead Smith has been finding out.
Sale was the first stop for the ovarian cancer awareness van, featuring the smiling face of our friend Diane Oxberry, who died of the disease at the end of 2019.
I think she would have been very overwhelmed, actually, the fact that her face is driving around the streets of Greater Manchester and visiting all these communities. But our main mission is to raise awareness of the symptoms of ovarian cancer, because early diagnosis is just so important.
On the other side of the van, ovarian cancer survivors Hilary and Charlotte.
I feel very proud and very honoured to be doing this, and incredibly lucky as well. People see it as a death sentence, and it isn't. If people seek help early, you know, there is good treatment, and which is improving all the time.
Thankfully, your GP recognised the symptoms at the time that you were trying for a baby.
Yeah, she did. So eternally grateful to my own GP. You know, she really sat me down, took note of my symptoms, and really took them seriously. And now I actually have a miracle little baby. I'm so fortunate, and I wouldn't be in this position to be a mum and to be standing here and doing this work that I'm doing today if it wasn't for my own GP.
Women are encouraged to come on board to learn more about ovarian cancer.
Rather than expecting people to come into the NHS and go to see their GP as the first port of call, we're getting out there and talking to people in their communities.
And foods are used to quiz people on the size a healthy ovary should be.
Which one is actually the size of an ovary?
The almond.
Something so small can become something so sinister.
Yep, exactly that.
The van will tour towns in Greater Manchester over the next 6 weeks. Mairead Smith, BBC North West Tonight, Sale.
So if you see the van, you will know, and I'm sure you'll give Diane a wave. Now let's take a look at some more of the stories making headlines in the North West tonight. A 16-year-old girl has suffered serious head injuries in a crash in Blackpool. Police say that she was riding as a passenger on an e-scooter when it was hit by a car on Whitegate Drive. The police are now hunting for the driver of the vehicle who left without stopping. The rider of the e-scooter, a 17-year-old boy, was arrested on suspicion of causing serious injury by dangerous driving. A review of hundreds of patients who were treated by the spinal surgeon John Bradley Williamson has been ordered by the Patient Safety Minister. Mr Williamson worked at the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital and Salford Royal Hospital. 2 previous reviews found issues with surgery led to 29 patients suffering significant harm. Mr Williamson says that he has always strived to provide the very best care for his patients. Wildlife experts say that otters and fish could be affected by diesel, which polluted the River Kent in Kendal at the weekend. Oil-absorbing booms were used to stem the spillage. The Environment Agency traced the source to a surface water drain close to a nearby industrial estate. A former Lancashire textile mill, which featured in the film The King's Speech, has been awarded £800,000 of government cash to help protect it. It will go towards urgent repairs to the roof at Queen Street Mill in Burnley. The building, which is now a museum, is home to more than 300 looms and machinery. Now, a man with autism from Atherton has found his voice after singing with Irish folk legends Foster and Allen. Martin Finn is non-verbal, but remarkably has recorded a cover version and a video of the Westlife song Flying Without Wings. Anna Jameson's got this uplifting report.
Some find an end the face of their
Meet Martin. He's 32 and has an extraordinary voice.
in a lover's eyes.
But Martin's autism is so severe that he's nearly non-verbal, except for when he sings.
That special thing, you're flying without wings.
Sings all the time, don't you? And his mum and dad's very proud of him, aren't we?
And it was here at Langate School and College where his gift was nurtured.
Teacher would be trying to teach different subjects to Martin, and Martin would carry on singing. If you asked him his name, he couldn't respond. To hear him singing was unbelievable.
Some find it sharing every
None other than Irish musical duo Foster and Allen heard about Martin's talent and invited him to sing on their new album.
I spoke to Martin's father, John, and I asked how would he go about it, and he said if we could record a song and send it to Martin, that Martin would learn it. Now, I said to myself, that's fine, that's grand, you know, but I couldn't believe he had it word for word, note for note. He was perfect, everything about him was perfect.
Which one you let go would have made you complete?
People ask us, you know, what was your favourite thing that happened in your career? And I used to always say Top of the Pops because it was magic. But I think that day in the studio, it really goes above.
So this experience topped Top of the Pops?
Oh, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, hopefully it'll be a UK #1 as well. That's what we want.
Hopefully, but as long as it gives hope to other people, you know, that have autistic kids, that's more important than whether it goes to #1 or not.
He's going to come up. Can we get a big round of applause as he comes forward?
And the pair joined Martin as he visited his old school to inspire the next generation. How does Martin sing when he's not able to speak?
So for Martin, it's his passion. He doesn't have to think about a two-way conversation. It's a song that's already wrote, the words are already there.
And the opportunity means everything to his family.
Lots of people win the lottery and a lot of money, and to us it's better than winning the lottery because to Martin it's his life and it means the world.
Flying without wings.
Anna Jameson, BBC North West Tonight in Atherton.
Am I the only one who finds that absolutely astonishing? Well done, Martin. That's really, really superb. What a great story. Wish him all the best. Right, let's move on to sport. Ian is here. I've just been looking it up. There were 32 years, or there have been 32 years of the Premier League. 23 of them have been won by the North West, so only 9 not won by North West clubs. I think we might have another one coming as well, don't you?
We might.
Possibly.
Yeah, we might. And with research like that, it's no wonder you're the head honcho of North West News Broadcasting, is it? Liverpool are well clear at the top after victory at Manchester City yesterday evening, helped by second-placed Arsenal losing on Saturday. So Arne Slot continues to make a brilliant impression in his first season as Liverpool manager, to the extent that, as Roger alluded to, the title already appears Anfield-bound. The City team bus had been met with a warm, if not crazily loud, welcome pre-match.
Well, I've covered this fixture at the Etihad many times in the past, and let me tell you, there's a very different feel to this one. City are well out of it in terms of the title race. They've got to scrap for a top 4 finish now, while Liverpool are racing away at the top of the Premier League.
Optimist, so I've got us down as a 2-1 win, and Martin?
I think if we were at home, I'll be watching this from behind the sofa.
He maybe wished he had, though a lot of half-and-half scarves were on display. There was only ever really one before the game. One leading bookmaker had paid out early on them winning the Premier League.
Yeah, if we win today, we win the league, I think. But it's no guarantee still. It's just a hope.
And how many times have you come into this type of game at City as favourites, Liverpool?
Not many.
We have one game in hand, so but it was just ahead of us, but it's a good position to be in.
Injuries and an ageing team, and I think they're just...
No, definitely not.
No,
there's nothing wrong with him.
With the new players that will come in the next years, and they are really good, so everything will be fine.
In the Championship, Burnley's win on Friday means they start the week 2 points off the top two, who play each other tonight. In League One, there were good wins for Blackpool and Bolton, who beat Leyton Orient to continue their good recent run. While in League Two, Crewe Alexandra revived their promotion hopes with victory over Barrow, but at the bottom, there was another damaging defeat for Morecambe at home to Walsall. Accrington and Tranmere also lost. We're actually filming at Tranmere tomorrow night as they host Accrington. Should be a good one. Now, in Super League, Warrington beat Catalan Dragons on Friday, since when there's been some off-field worries for the head coach, Sam Burgess. But he says he's confident he will get to Las Vegas to see his side play Wigan Warriors on Saturday. He didn't fly out with the team yesterday because he's still waiting for visa clearance. Wigan also won on Friday at Hull FC, and they're Vegas-bound today, as we speak, actually. Elsewhere, Salford Red Devils, who fielded an entirely different 13 from a record defeat last weekend, lost 32-6 at home to Leeds. St Helens made it 2 wins from 2, beating Castlefield 46-6. And it's also successive wins for Lee Leopards, as they saw off Huddersfield 24 points to 10. And Liverpool boxer Callum Smith's career looks to be in the ascendancy again after he won a unanimous decision against the previously unbeaten Josh Buatsi in Riyadh that gives him the WBO interim title. It's a win that surely puts Smith back in the light heavyweight world title race. Battered and bruised, Rog, but rather victorious there.
Excellent. I hope I haven't jinxed another North West Premier League.
Oh, why? What have you done
With
now?
my stats saying that we could have another one. Anyway.
No, it's good. Good research, though.
Thank you. Ian mentioned Everton's draw against Manchester United at the weekend. That's underlined their resurgence, of course, under David Moyes.
It has indeed, yeah. They're above Manchester United in the table now. 4 places and 14 points above the relegation zone as they prepare to move to their new stadium at Bramley Moor Dock next season. Look at it, it's looking glorious.
It's amazing, isn't it? Well, Everton hope the stadium will put their name back on the European football map. And they took another step towards that, quite literally. You'll see what I mean this morning.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The countdown is really on to a new era for one of our oldest football clubs. A handful of fans were there this morning as the name Everton Stadium went live on the official maps of Great Britain.
You look around and it's going to be our new home soon, but really excited and can't wait to get into my new seat.
It's just absolutely breathtaking. As soon as we came around the back of the stand on the way in, the scale and size of it just blew me away.
The first time I came here was on a site visit when they just acquired the land, and it was just like literally the water was still there. And trying to look at it now and remember it as it was, it's just like a completely different place. It's mind-blowing.
The majority of what we do is actually change of features in the landscape. So it's schools, it's houses, it's roads, it's access points to important sites like this. Because Ordnance Survey's been mapping the landscape for over 200 years, there's 20,000 changes to the Ordnance Survey data a day, and that adds to the 500 million features that is the master map of Great Britain.
Everton have spent £800 million creating their stunning new home. The walls of the old dock on which it stands are still intact. It could be reverse engineered to allow the water back in one day. It's not likely. All eyes are fixed on a footballing future here.
As sad as it is leaving Goodison Park, you look at this place and it takes your breath away. We need a team on the park to go with this magnificent stadium.
I was fortunate enough to be here for the test game, so we had 10,000 people in the south stand behind us there, so it was an incredible atmosphere. To times that by 5 and have 50-odd thousand in here will be an incredible atmosphere, I'm sure.
The contours at the top of English football have shifted a little this season. Now Everton hope this place will help them to reach new heights. It is really impressive, you know.
It looks really, really good. Is it better than Tottenham Stadium? Because
I've never been there, so I don't know. Someone's just said Tottenham's great, Abby. Tottenham's in London. Who cares?
Yeah.
Abby, I don't care about the weather in London either. How's it looking here?
No, well, we've had a real mix today. I mean, it's sort of almost felt a little bit like spring, dare I say. It's the last week of meteorological winter. Some lovely crocuses just starting to pop up in the sunshine, but it was a little bit soggy for some morning dog walks this morning. Thank you to Tracy Rennie for sending this photo in. On the Wirral, where it was a little bit damp and drizzly, but it did improve. If you do take a weather photo and you would like to send it in to us here at North West Tonight, all the details on the screen behind me. You can send them directly through social media, or you can sign up and become one of our BBC Weather Watchers. So the forecast for tomorrow, again, is a little bit mixed. We'll see some sunshine, but we'll also see a few showers. Temperatures are going to drop slightly over the next couple of days. Wednesday probably looking like the most unsettled day of the week. We have this weather front here that will bring some rain, spreading west to east on Wednesday. But we do then have this ridge of high pressure. You can see the isobars spread out a little bit. Our weather settles down at Thursday and Friday, probably looking like a pretty decent end to the week. Overnight tonight, we're going to see some showery rain, west to east. That will spread. Then 1 or 2 scattered showers in the early hours of tomorrow morning. Some clearer spells, but quite a lot of cloud, I think, as we start the day tomorrow, with our temperatures dropping back to about 4 degrees Celsius. So a mix tomorrow of sunshine and showers, temperatures around the seasonal average of around 8 or 9 degrees Celsius. We've got Ribchester on the map this week as well. Thank you to Theo, the sausage delivery man, who sent that suggestion in for this week. You can see on the air mass that we're going to move slightly into the blues, which will inevitably drop the temperatures slightly over the next few days, but actually they will drop just closer to the seasonal average. They were a little bit above average over the weekend. So a slight drop in temperatures coming in. That does bring the risk on Wednesday of seeing perhaps a little bit of wintry precipitation over the tops of the hills, only really above sort of 500 metres. Elsewhere, that rain will be falling as rain. These will be our temperatures, ranging from between 5 to 8 degrees Celsius. Settling down then Thursday and Friday, that ridge of high pressure will bring a couple of days of dry, settled and sunny weather.
The sausage delivery man was a recommendation from Kay, wasn't it?
It was. I have to get it in there.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Kay. Yeah. Anyway, the boss thought this would be a good idea if we all sat together.
It's very cosy. I feel so close to you right now.
Very
Literally,
snug.
metaphorically.
Have a nice evening.
Good night.
Thanks for watching.